Hi everyone, this is Dee at Aloha Astro, and today is November 14th, 2016. It is also the full moon today. It's already passed us by. It was right around 3 a.m. this morning Eastern Time, but being that the full moon in Taurus was in my 12th house, I was a little bit slow on catching up with what was going on today and a little bit on the quiet side, as that full moon occurred in my 12th house. For everybody, what this full moon would bring is a culmination that has to do with Taurus or second house type of energy. Taurus is the fixed earth sign that says I have, and it rules the second house of the chart, which is very concerned with money, values. It is also a very grounded sign, fixed meaning stubborn. It can be very persistent, stubborn, holds on to things. Taurus is also a Venus-ruled sign. The planet that rules this sign is Venus. So there is always a fine appreciation for the material pleasure, that the pleasure that comes from the material world, whether it's what we can taste or smell or see or touch or hear. This is all Taurus concern. How does it taste? How does it look? How did it feel? Did it give you pleasure or comfort? Some of the Taurus concerns are also your basic needs, such as your home, your family, your food, your finances, having enough, feeling that you are enough. The second house also rules things like self-esteem and self-worth and how you express your values. So no matter where this full moon occurred within your own natal chart, you're going to have some overtones that have to do with the sense of having or not having. So one thing that this full moon might have brought about for you is an awareness of where you have plenty in your life and an awareness of where you may be lacking things. It may also highlight areas where you need to become more practical or more grounded and get some work done in terms of taking care of what you already have. Whether that's housework around your home or sorting through your material possessions, taking account of your finances, any of those things could be what the full moon is highlighting. And of course, you would have to look at your own natal chart to see where this full moon is occurring. For me, I have Taurus in my 12th house, and my ascendant or rising sign is Gemini. Now, as of this evening, I just checked and moved the hours ahead here, and we are already past this full moon in Taurus, and we've moved into the sign of Gemini. So the moon's already made its shift from the late degrees of Taurus as the day went on into Gemini this evening here in the Eastern time zone. So we're already lightening up a bit, and any of the emotional pressures of the full moon will now switch from the physical level over to the mental level, because we're entering into a Gemini moon phase for the next few days where things become much more cerebral, people become more communicative, our minds lighten up, and we don't feel things quite as heavily in the body. When the moon's in Taurus, we literally can feel things in our body, and the need for extra sleep or for eating good comfort foods or for getting some fresh air and taking a walk, getting some moderate exercise, extra rest, whatever it is that your body was telling you that you needed for comfort may have been the most important thing as the days approached the full moon. And now we can get out and start connecting a bit more and let go of some of the mental or emotional weight that that full moon might have brought. Now, of course, with the full moon, we have the opposition to the sun in Scorpio. Sometimes trust issues come out during this kind of energy. Scorpio can reveal the things that are hidden underneath. And since both these signs are fixed in nature, they can be very stubborn or persistent, or in the case of Scorpio, sometimes controlling or manipulating. And there can be a revealing of things during this time frame. There can also be a frustration that occurs on the emotional level if you want things to be very much your way and you're dealing with somebody else who wants things to be very much their way. Then you may have a locking literally of the horns when you're up against somebody who's extremely persistent or persuasive, or even if it's avoidance, because sometimes Scorpio energy can turn kind of secretive or quiet. So there may be pressure in that area of life as well. The second house of personal finances is opposed by the 8th house of shared assets and money that isn't necessarily ours to touch immediately. Money for the long term, money that's in business, investments, inheritances, business partnerships, the money you might share with a romantic partner, with a marriage partner. So if there are any issues around money going on with the full moon in Taurus, you have to look at where is that money coming from? Are you having to share that money with somebody? And how do you handle the balancing of this? Especially if you have to deal with the government in some way in terms of the money. Are you handling the money in the proper way in terms of taxes or accounting, or the proper type of accounts, or whatever you need to do to make the money legitimate or to be accountable for the money? So it may not just be personal financial things that came out at the full moon, but the connectedness to other people or business or the government or wherever that money is coming to you from. If you're not directly working for it by the hour, it's things like maybe your debts, your credit cards. And just as we're going into a holiday season where we're looking at Black Friday ads and things like that, take a look at what you have, take a look at what you want, and then take a look at what you really need and work out what you can afford. That would be the best thing to do while you're sitting here under a Taurus full moon, to take account of the things that you can be grateful for and eliminate the things that you no longer need, or pass them on to somebody else to make room for the new things that you might want to be accumulating as we go into the holiday season. A nice trine here between the Sun and Chiron, sextile today between the Moon and Chiron. So Chiron in Pisces got some emphasis today, and this can bring about a desire to nurture and care for, or for some healing. This is a very sensitive Chiron placement, and it is well supported by both the Sun and the Moon. And basically, people are seeking some comfort or want to feel safe and would like things to heal and be at peace with the energy that's going on right now. And that does make sense, especially after the all the political stuff going on. There is potential that there may still be a lot of speaking out. There may actually be changes that come about in society that are forced by society because of Mars moving through Aquarius right now at 3 degrees here, nearly 4 degrees of Aquarius. Mars is an action planet. It's in the sign of Aquarius, which does rule the society itself, the collective, all of us. And things are changing, basically, with this pattern here. And how much will they change? I don't know, but there is talk of change. And a lot of people expressing points of view right now with the sextile to Mercury in Sagittarius. And everybody's basically seeking improvement. Everybody also wants to be able to say what's on their mind and get it out. And hopefully this will result in some changes for the better. There is some square energy going on between Jupiter in Libra and Pluto in Capricorn, And generally, Jupiter is a benevolent planet, and it's never entirely challenged or oppressed by a harsh aspect, but this can still put some brakes on Jupiter. And I would say the hardest thing here is fairness, diplomacy, being nice in the midst of having some very powerful feelings. Pluto in Capricorn can be particularly opinionated, and this may also be a general call for some fairness or truth to come out, to bring things back into balance, especially if power in the traditional or the established sense and the governmental sense is not making everybody happy. And there will be changes, I think, as a result of this election. Will it impact this election right now? Hard to say. I'm not sure. It may. We have this quincunx here from the Sun in Scorpio over to Uranus in Aries, and this may bring about a change. We'll see what happens. We'll see what society actually brings to bear upon the establishment, and maybe things will happen and change faster than we anticipate. So that is what is going on with this full moon, and I hope everybody has a blessed evening, and I wish greater abundance for everyone as we go into the holiday season, that everybody's needs are met and there's plenty to share and to spare and to go around. And take care. Have a good evening. Enjoy the moon now shifting into Gemini this evening and tomorrow. Tomorrow should be a busy running around communicative day as that moon moves further into Gemini. So have a good evening, folks.